AFA today on AFR Talk. If you're watching on the AFA channel, beautiful midday shot of Lady Liberty. Have you called and donated a military Bible stick or two yet? 800-800-2555. You should go. 800-800-2555. Put the Word of God into the heads and ears of our soldiers. They need it. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. 888-589-8840. Take more of your calls. We've got a full phone bank, and they're coming in from all over today. We got South Dakota, Ohio, Michigan, Mississippi, all on the line. Let me just add one more fun little story to just roll into the mix here. It appears that very soon in California, already people are moaning. Ugh. It appears that very soon in California, men who like to have sex with other men may soon be able to label themselves mother on birth certificates. And ironically enough, very soon, women that like to have sex with other women, or in some cases not have sex, but just be utterly codependent upon each other and sad and miserable for the rest of their lives, those people may soon be able to call themselves fathers on birth certificates. Now, barring any unnatural course of action, how does one man having sex with another man have said child on birth certificate for which he becomes mother? And given the fact that he does not bear said child the way mothers do, how could he be defined as one who is mother? Lawmakers on Thursday in the State Assembly of California voted 51-13 to modernize the definition of a family. Currently, birth certificate documents in the state have a space for mother and another space for father. And Jimmy Gomez, a Democrat who represents Los Angeles in the State Assembly, says the form is discriminatory and demands revision. Because God forbid that we have a mother and a father for a child. Ah! Let's go to Sean in Michigan. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Kevin. How you doing?
I wouldn't ask.
Yeah. About the last comment, the key thing about so-called gay marriage is it is blasphemous, okay? It is blasphemous.
I agree with that. Yep.
God's image corrupted, whatever, okay. But the other thing, fill me in, I think here in Michigan, definitely not one of the more conservative states, people have been charged and indicted for this very thing. So what am I?
So you're saying you're saying that Michigan has a law where if you have HIV/AIDS and you purposefully interact with someone else sexually and you don't tell them ahead of time, that you can be charged with an assault or a criminal charge of some sort?
I very much believe so, yes. In fact, these people were not, they were mentally ill, or one or two of them, and they were deliberately infecting people that way.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Sean, I'm so sorry. I'm glad that Michigan has the law. That's a positive sign. Should all the states follow their lead? Yes and amen. 888-589-8840. Jeremy is in Mississippi. Hi, Jeremy. Welcome. Thanks for your patience. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hi. I was just thinking about this. Considering how high the gay population is when it comes to the numbers of people who have HIV, I'm surprised that the gay lobby hasn't come out against this, saying that it's anti-gay.
Well, but see, they're the ones that if you force them to tell, they're the ones that are the most put under. by that suppression. So what happens is now they can't find anybody to have sex with them, because if they have a partner who doesn't have it, and they say, well, I'm infected with it, then that person probably won't want to have sex with them. So I can understand completely from their perspective why they would fight such laws. But I'm sorry, I thought we elected leaders to think about what was best for the whole of society, not just, the one or two little special interest groups that give a lot of money to their campaigns. I don't know. I thought babies required mommies and daddies, too. That shows how backwards I am. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Bonnie in Ohio. Hello, Bonnie.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm so glad to hear a reasonable-sounding voice coming from the Midwest today. Please tell me I'm not crazy. Please tell me that mommies and daddies are still good things to have for little babies.
Mommies and daddies are great for little babies, and so are grandmas and grandpas.
There you go. I like
and I'm
that.
the grandma. I'm the grandma. Kevin, what I have to say is, considering we have irresponsible, immoral government currently, makes perfect sense to me that we should have people just not telling anything and letting us all get sick and just spreading the dough.
Well, my first story today, Bonnie, the man who was, and thank you for your call, the man that was charged to be in charge of our entire bank of money, our entire money supply, the guy that was put in charge of the U.S. Treasury, the guy that has the key to the mint. I don't know if he does or not. Maybe he probably does. He probably get it from the guy. He probably knows, if it's Sal or George, whoever. Hey, bring the key over here. I'd like to go in and see I just want to see how the machine works. That's all. I'm not gonna use it for any personal use. I just want to see if it's working. Yeah. But that person, the man in charge of the money, was told by the administration on multiple occasions, according to his own voluntary statements in the book that he just put out. Nobody wasn't under cross testimony in some, litigative case in a courtroom. He's just telling his story. Oh, yes, on many occasions, the White House in their show preps for the Sunday circuit. Where have I heard that before? Did some coaching with me, and they were trying to make me say things that weren't, how do I put this delicately? They were blatantly false. And then when a few voices in talk radio started taking notice of this on, our Facebook pages and such, now he's issued this whole other statement. Well, I wasn't saying that they were telling me to be a liar. I'm sorry, Timmy boy. I think your book says differently. I think that's exactly what they told you to do. 888-589. So, yes, Bonnie's point that if they're going to lie to you about that, why not tell other people to lie about their HIV positiveness? Josh is in South Dakota. Hi, Josh. So glad you're with us. Kevin McCullough is my name. Glad to meet you. Welcome.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I was calling in response to your article about the Planned Parenthood and the HIV situation.
Yes.
Well, you got to kind of look at who started it. I mean, Margaret Sanger, and she was a huge eugenicist. When you look at the premise, they're kind of holding true to their foundational beliefs,
Yeah.
Which is, decreasing, said minority groups or even, people as a whole.
Well, and that's totally true. And people get offended when I bring that up, that, Margaret Sanger, the woman who started Planned Parenthood, was a racist. She did not like people of color. She wanted to see abortions be kept low cost and put into the inner cities. That's why a lot of Planned Parenthood clinics are typically in very highly densely populated areas, specifically in lower income areas in cities, because the goal is to kill the black child from the beginning. That's what Planned Parenthood wanted to do. Kill the black baby. And anybody that disputes that is just not telling the truth. You can read it all in the history of what took place. Let's go to Hank in Arkansas. Hi, Hank. Welcome. Glad you're with us.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm trying to keep my wits about me.
Hey, I would like to hit on a subject that you talked about whenever you first came on about the guy over the lethal injection.
Yeah, the guy in Texas, he's going to die tonight, and he was trying to put a stop to his execution because he was trying to make the case for people that are just joining us. He was trying to make the case that they bungled the injection in Oklahoma, and they might bungle the injection here. The guy in Oklahoma still died. It just took a little longer than normal. I don't see why that would be a reason to stop.
You know, what I'm getting at, first of all, let me tell you, I'm not politically correct in any sense. But if a person kills another person, in my opinion, I think they should die in the same manner. You know, it shouldn't matter if they had to suffer a little pain. What did their victim suffer?
Yeah. Well, and in these two guys' case, I think that's extraordinarily the case because they both, the guy that was just killed in Oklahoma was a rapist and a murderer, and he did some terrible, horrible things to that 19-year-old girl. Buried her alive. She was still alive, and it's just awful. So, yeah, the fact that he struggled a little bit and had a little bit of a heart attack, I didn't lose any sleep over that. Maybe that makes me just one heartless guy. But, you know, I don't want to give money to Planned Parenthood to let them tell our kids to give each other AIDS. Call me crazy. I don't think it's a good idea. I know I'm kind of nutty that way. Frank in North Carolina. Hi, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
Hi, Kevin. I wanted to call because I believe, if I remember correctly, there was actually a court case where a man had been going around and sleeping with multiple people. I believe it was just women, if I can remember correctly. And he actually had AIDS, did not tell them that he had that, and it was actually they were going to die. They had AIDS at that point. And if I remember correctly, he was actually being charged as a serial killer. So because of what he had done.
Well, I think attempted murder is not too harsh of a crime. If you know that he's passing on a disease that there is no cure for, I don't think attempted murder is that big of a stretch.
If I remember correctly, how the case went, he knew he had it, and he was consciously going out spreading it, which is
and that's what Planned Parenthood's telling. That's what Planned Parenthood's telling these kids to do.
And see, I work in the medical profession, so for me, we have to know if you have something. We're like, well, do you have that? If you do, then we need to know. Especially even whether it be a dentist or a surgeon, they're dealing with your blood and other stuff. They have to know. Are you the problem that it comes down to is by not telling us, that is giving a death sentence to anyone, because it's not just through sexual transmission. It's also if I have a cut on my hand or if there's a split in my skin and it gets in there and I'm just sitting there, I don't know, and that's, you're pretty much murdering someone. And I'm not saying that they should be outcast or anything. What I'm saying is by telling people that it's okay, you don't have to tell anyone, is you're keeping a very deadly secret. And for a lot of people, there was actually, as I said, the court case where you should be tried for murder if you're holding something like that back. You're in that kind of situation.
I liken it back to my example of trying to stab someone with a needle full of deadly viruses. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, it's the same type of thing. Let's go to John in Virginia. Hi, John. You're next with Kevin McCullough. Glad you're here.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure thing.
I'm a medical doctor, and I attended a seminar recently that was led by a psychiatrist who was giving us an update on the diagnostic manual for mental illness. And the new terminology for homosexuality is gender identity disorder, and it doesn't have anything to do with your genetics. It has to do with how you feel and what sex you feel most comfortable and adaptable. Well, if they can change the definition of gender, it's not much of a stretch at changing the definition of motherhood and fatherhood. So I think we're going to find that motherhood and fatherhood is simply going to be choosing to raise a child, not having reared a child.
Yeah, and unfortunately, John, that day's already arrived in the state of California. No doubt about it. That's where they're at. And the news today that Yeah, if a man likes to have sex with other men, he can be the child's mom. If the woman likes to have sex or is deeply connected to in an overtly emotionally dependent way to another woman, she can be a father. According to the new statute being proposed, it's passed the Assembly. I think it's got to go to the state Senate and have the governor sign it. Like that'll be any kind of challenge, because it passed overwhelmingly in the state Assembly. So yeah, I mean that's the world we're living in now, friend. And this is the really disturbing part. Back to the Planned Parenthood story. It'd be one thing if this was a private organization sitting off in the corner, having to struggle for its own existence through financing that it itself goes out and orchestrates. The reason Planned Parenthood is such a demonically wicked, evil organization is because they take the tax dollars that you and I pay, and with it, they kill unborn children. And now they're telling young people that have the HIV/AIDS virus to go infect one another, and to not have to be socially accountable or responsible for that knowledge. And you and I are funding them. We are paying for it. You're paying for it. I'm paying for it. That's why this is so insidious. We are being made complicit, and we have no choice in the matter. I'm Kevin McCullough. I'm always glad to hear from you, especially if you want to drop me an email, kmcradio@gmail.com. It's the American Family Association Today, AFA Today, on American Family Radio. Coming up next, Brian Fisher. That silver fox is standing by with Focal Point. He's ready to go momentarily. Right after the news, stay with us here on AFR Talk.